Guys, welcome back to the Merry Boozers RC channel. Today I am here with Dave, the Air Marshal. Go check his videos out. We have him linked down in the description.
Awesome.
And tonight we are going to be putting the receiver into the new Freewing Gripen. And we're going to be setting it up. And who better to set it up with than Dave? If you guys have any questions on all of the new Spectrum receivers, this guy has done a whole bunch on them. So tell him a little bit about yourself.
I'm Dave Marshall. I run the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel, and like Wesley was saying, we do a lot of stuff over there with Spectrum receivers, and we're going to be using a Spectrum receiver in the Gripen from Freewing, and it has a pretty unique setup, and hopefully we'll be able to showcase that, some of the things that you need to do to get this plane running right, and it's all right here on the Merry Boozer channel.
So here we go, guys. We're going to dive into this. So first thing we're going to do is start hooking it up, and we'll show you how we hooked everything up on the receiver down in the airplane. All right, guys, we're down here on the bench, and I put all of this in myself with no help. No.
That's right.
No, Air Marshal put this in here. And he did a great job of running the wires and making it clean, guys. Take a few minutes and a little pride in your jet, and look at how good he made that look. So he did take the battery bay up to be able to run all the wires nice and clean and zip tie. But now tell them how you hooked up this receiver, Dave.
Okay, so as you can see, or if not, this is a Spectrum AR8010T receiver, and the way that we have this hooked up, as with most Spectrums, you're going to use your first channel is going to be your throttle. So this is going to be our throttle channel here, and this is it's two rows of plugs, right? It doesn't all go on a single row. So we've got our throttle, and then for your ailerons, you've actually got two ailerons that we're going to be setting up as elevons in the radio, but not yet. So your aileron goes one aileron into your aileron channel, one aileron into your elevator channel. So it's throttle, aileron, aileron, so right aileron, left aileron, rudder. And then on the underside, we've got our gear. And then in aux 1, we've got one of our canards. I believe it's our right canard, and our left canard is plugged into aux 2.
So there you go. And now we are going to actually get into the programming and setting up of the canards.
Yes, sir.
Guys. So Dave has got the airplane fired up right now. We flipped it over. We are going to adjust the canards to neutral now. They were both zeroed in the radio, but one is off. So he is going to reach down there and show you how to adjust that, and I'm going to be quiet.
And we're doing the mechanical adjustment, right? So what we're looking at here is the bottom of the aircraft, and we're looking inside of the main landing gear wells. So as you open the landing gear and they extend, you'll see right here where the little pointer goes.
There you go, and I zoomed in on it.
We've got a quick adjust set screw that we can loosen, and you'll see that the control rod runs through there. So what we're going to do is loosen up that set screw. That's a 2.5 millimeter Allen key. We'll just loosen that, and that will allow the control rod for the canard to pass freely through that collar. So we should be able to move that now, and we can adjust our canard at this point to its neutral position. And what we can do is see how the rod is moving back and forth as we move the canard. So we're gonna basically hold the canard in its mechanical neutral position, and then just simply tighten that back down. And we would repeat that same process on both sides, and that's how you mechanically center the canards on the Gripen. Alright guys, so at this point we've got the Gripen set up, and all of the control surfaces are mechanically centered, so now we can move forward with programming the radio. At this point our radio is set up with the wing type as normal, and we're going to change that over to elevons. We're going to go ahead and do that now, and this is a IX12 Spectrum radio, but it should be a fairly similar process for any type of transmitter receiver setup that you're running. Unless you're running like an external gyro or something like that, things get more complex, but for now we're just showing you how to set this up with a standard non-gyro receiver. So we're going to go into model setup. We'll go over to aircraft type and long press proceed. And here we're going to change our wing type. We're going to leave our tail type as normal, but we're going to change our wing type to Elevon A. So we'll scroll till we get to Elevon A, and then we'll go back to our main screen. And at this point we can test our elevons. So we're going to test our aileron movement, our roll axis, as well as our pitch axis. And right now they're reversed, and that's okay. You know, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into model adjust and simply reverse the two elevon servos, which is going to be our right aileron and left aileron. So we're going to servo setup, we're going to model adjust, servo setup. We've got right aileron, we'll just reverse that channel, and left aileron. And now that we've reversed those, we can look at our control surfaces again. And we can see that we're doing a right roll, left roll, up elevator, down elevator. So now all of our control surfaces are moving the way that we expect them to. And at this point we can go ahead and move on to setting up the mixes for the canards.
It's recording, by the way.
All right, so now we've set up the elevons, and we're going to move forward with the mixes to get the canards in. And to do that, we're going to set up mixing inside the radio for both the elevator and the aileron to our flap channel, which is aux1, and to our aux2 channel, which is where our canards are plugged in. To do that, we're going to go to model adjust, and you know, whatever radio you're using, you'd want to go to your mixing. So we'll go to model adjust.
Maybe.
We'll go to mixing. And as I mentioned, we're going to be setting up 4 mixes. Right, so for each canard, we're going to be setting up a mix for aileron and elevator that will allow them to move for both pitch and roll axis. So for our first mix, and all of these are going to be normal, not curved. All right, so up here at the top, we're going to check the left box, which is the source. So for this one, we want the source to be our elevator, and the channel that it's going to get mixed into will be our flap channel. We're going to set the rate to be plus 100. On both the right and left. So we want both rates set to 100. And down here where it says switch, you can either set up your mix to turn on with a switch that you can flip the mix on and off. In this case, we want it to be on all the time, so we'll change the switch from inhibit, and you have a setting to just turn it on. So now it's on all the time. And that is all we need to do for our first mix. And right now, one of the canards is moving with the elevator, so that is good. And we'll go ahead and continue. All right. Uh-oh. And we'll go ahead and continue with the next mix. So we'll go into mix 2, normal. This time we'll set up our source as elevator again, and we'll mix that into aux 2. We'll set our rates. This time, for elevator to aux 2, we're going to set the rates to -100. Go. We're going to hit OK. And again, we'll change that switch from inhibit to on. Now we can go back. We'll set up our third mix. And this time, instead of using elevator as the source, we're going to use aileron, because now we're setting up our roll axis. So again, it's going to be a normal mix. And the first one we'll set up is aileron to the flap channel. And we're going to use -100 for our value.
Maybe.
Move. Edit that out.
Oh no, it's staying.
It's still better than a scroll wheel. And here we'll set the switch again to on. We'll go back. So that is our third mix that we need, and our fourth and final mix is going to be ailerons to aux 2. And again, these values are going to be -100.
Did you have to click the other box?
No.
Oh.
That's to make the arrows, or the plus and minus signs, do something.
My
There
first
we
time
go.
ever using this radio.
All right, we'll set our switch to on. And now we've got our 4 mixes set up, and you can see here in the menu we've got PMix 1 set up for elevator to flap, it's turned on. PMix 2 is elevator to aux 2. PMix 3 is aileron to flaps, and PMix 4 is aileron to aux 2. So now we have both aileron and elevator mixed into our flap channel, which is aux 1 on the receiver, and we've got it also set up on aux 2, which is our second canard, right? So at this point we can go ahead and take a look at the airplane and show you guys how the canards move in relation to the elevons, because it's important to understand how the canards are supposed to move. In the event that you set these up, the values that you use may not be the exact values that we're using in this particular case. What's important is that the values that you use create the proper movement of the canard to follow the elevons properly. So in the pitch axis, when I go to up elevator, what I want is for the leading edge of the canard, so here, I want that leading edge to follow the trailing edge of the elevon. So you'll see that the elevons, you know, are in an up deflection, and the canards, the leading edge follows the trailing edge, right? So
But like this, or a banana.
yes, they create kind of a curve. And when I go to down elevator, right, the leading edge goes down and the trailing edge of the elevons goes down, right? So the leading edge follows the trailing edge. Leading edge of the canard follows trailing edge of the elevon. When we're in the roll axis, what we want to see is both the canards and the elevons basically move in the same direction. So when I go and roll to the right, my right aileron and my right elevon, the trailing edges of those surfaces both go up, which is going to create or cause the airplane to start to roll to the right. So as we roll to the left, you'll also see that the elevon or the canards are following the elevons. So in the roll axis, they follow, and in the pitch axis, they are the opposite of each other.
So guys, that gets the Gripen all ready for us to get ripping.
Get ripping with the Gripen.
So one little thing we'll show you real quick, guys, just because it's the only control surface we haven't moved. Dave, if you want to hold it up for him real quick, let's cycle the gear. This airplane has a wonderful gear also. Here we go, and cycling. The mechanical doors, they really pop out. They're spring loaded. Look at this. Boing. It is one sweet looking plane, guys. So I'm super excited. I know everybody here is like, let's see this thing go. So we're gonna find out tomorrow at the Mary Boozer Toy for Tots Fun Fly. Everybody's here for.
Absolutely, it's gonna be a blast. And you know, I know that these kind of videos sometimes can be hard and painful to watch, but especially for the Gripen, this is one of the most complex setups that you're going to find on any aircraft, is an elevon setup with canard. So I really hope it helped you guys out, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, and hey, check out RC Air Marshal, guys. I know I said it at the beginning, but this guy has a lot of great videos on setups and tips and tutorials on a lot of different products. So go check him out and give him a follow. We'll see y'all later. Fly with your friends.